Hey, welcome everybody to SMA Live in the afternoon. It's Friday, and I've got the great Matt Emig with us here. Matt, thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you're busy. You're out in California doing things. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Now, what type of adjustment was it for you, a native New Yorker, to get out there on the left coast? I know you're doing a ton of things, but it's a different change in lifestyle.
It was different for me, but I'm used to New York and I like LA. I like both places.
Mhm.
It's a nice change because there was a lot of people I knew from the martial arts world that lived here, so I already had a lot of friends coming off as soon
That
as I moved in.
I know
Train.
that made it easy to settle right in. Actually, why don't we kind of give us a mini recap from the last time you really were on the NASCAR circuit or really the tournament circuit until now? You made this jump. You're doing things. We're going to talk about Black Panther. We're going to talk about all these other roles. In fact, I'm going to pull up your IMDb page in the other window here. But give us, just the journey, how it's been for you.
Well, I stopped competing. The last tournament I competed in was Diamond Nationals 2012.
Hmm.
Um, I won the Forms Grand Championship. If I remember correctly, I busted my finger. It was jammed. So I couldn't really hold my chuck. So I was doing like a one chuck performance. The other hand was just kind of like moving back and forth. But I ended up winning the Forms Grand Championship at Diamonds, which is a nice way to go out. And that was my last tournament. Then the following year, I started a team. I did that for a couple of years while I was in LA auditioning and doing stunts for TV and film.
I mean, I've got the IMDb page up, and just to read off a few. Let's see, a couple of films you guys probably have never heard of. There's this little thing called Black Panther. There's something upcoming called Deadpool 2. Who's never heard? And then there's
I'm
this thing,
excited for that one.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, of course, obviously, I'm joking because I don't think anybody else, especially the SMA crew, as I'll get called nerd by Nick right now. I know he's watching. I'm really excited about Deadpool 2. Um, since it's on your IMDb page, obviously you did some stunts in it. Give us a little bit of that experience.
On Deadpool 2, I was on the fight team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not actually in the movie. They shot it in Vancouver, but I was trained in Zazie Beats, and she's playing Domino, character Domino in the
Mm-hmm.
movie. If you're not familiar with her in the comics, you'll get to see her next week. Comes out May 18th. Um, yeah, I was training Zazie Beats, and I was also shooting some of the previs. I was editing. I was choreographing, and that's what I did for 2 months working on the film.
I mean, if you haven't seen the preview, obviously Deadpool has a problem with Domino because he says her powers of luck don't matter. But I'm telling you, it's going to be. I've looked at the everything I can on the movie. It looks like it's going to be very exciting. I got to give a shout out to one of my students, Ross Costin, who was in the first Deadpool. Uh,
Yeah.
when he told me that, it blew my mind, and immediately I went to ego mode and said, "Wait a minute! So I've trained Deadpool. This is great." Give us an idea what a day is like on a set of shooting a major movie like that.
Well, it's always different. Each job is different. So honestly, you never really know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Some days are really chill. Some days are really intense. Some days you're only there for a couple hours. Some days you're there for, 13, 14 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Usually it's hurry up and wait. But sometimes it's not. There's been times, my first film I was on Ninja Turtles, there was days where at 6 a.m. we were on top of this big tower throwing tricks, kicks, fighting. We were wasting no time. As soon as the daylight, the
Mm-hmm.
sun rose, it was like, let's go until the sun set. So, uh, it depends. Each job's different, and you just got to be prepared and ready for anything.
Now, give us an idea of some of the things you've mentioned. Ninja Turtles, Deadpool also was in Vancouver. I did a little jumping around on your photos page as we're displaying some photos now. Where has this new venture taken you? Just give us some spots in the world where you've been just for filming.
Well, before I jumped into film and TV. I was traveling the world teaching seminars and competing on the tournament circuit. But from doing stunts, I've worked in Vancouver. I've worked in Atlanta. I've worked in New York a couple times. Um, those are pretty much the hot spots:
Mhm.
Vancouver, Atlanta, New York, and LA. You know.
I mean, one of the things I remember you had. Let's see here. I'm gonna just skip down here. I remember you had some fun stuff. Was it Daredevil or
No, I wasn't on Daredevil.
no? I'm sorry. I'm getting my heroes confused. Marvel's Agents of Shield, which is a something that I loved. You were doing. It looks like you were doing the Ghost Rider season. That's a favorite show of mine. I love it every Friday. Um, you're still doing stunts on there. What advice would you give to yourself? For example, obviously you've got years of experience right now. You made the move to California. What advice would you give to yourself, a younger Matt Emig, on like this is the best thing to do when you come out here? This, you want to do this, you want to do this, etc.
I would have done it earlier. At the same time, I have no regrets. I'm glad I competed for as long as I did, and it worked out the way it did. But I would have done stunts earlier, and also, training for stunts. I come from, I'm obviously a martial artist, so I do that side of the stunts, the fighting. There's a lot of other parts you could drive. There's fire burns, high falls, there's different types of stunts. But I would have trained different martial arts earlier as well. I mean, I did, but I was focused on tricking and nunchucks and extreme forms.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now, I'll do judo, boxing, taekwondo, karate, tricking. I try to switch it up. So I would have uh, switched up my training a little bit earlier on
Now
if I can
that's
go back
interesting
in time.
because I guess a lot of the different martial arts, as you mentioned, judo and some other things, your fight scenes can take you, I mean, almost anywhere. They can be anywhere, and they can be almost anything. Like you mentioned, top of a building. You may be inside of a mall. You may be inside of an apartment. I mean, I guess this all up to the fight choreographer. But it's interesting that you mentioned that slicing a few different style of martial arts would help you. I think that is definitely solid advice. One thing I wanted to ask you is now when you step in, you put on your choreographer's hat. What do obviously you have characters, the beginning and the middle and the end result of the scene. How do you go about trying to get something really original that's going to pop though?
Well, usually you get a skeleton first. You
Mm-hmm.
just get the beats down, and then you just work from there. Each character is different, and like I was just saying about training different styles. You can't have the same style. You can't. Not everybody moves the same. Not everybody fights the same. Some characters, maybe they have no martial arts skills, so now you have
Mm-hmm.
to look like you don't know any martial arts. You're throwing hook punches wild, and you're just making everything look dirty. Um, Somebody else might be like an MMA superstar, so you got to look like an MMA person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another character more on the superhero, and they got more acrobatic type movements. Or some characters are more practical. So it's always changing, and you just got to adapt and just know as much as possibly can. I feel like
Uh,
there's always something new to learn.
that is true. One of the things I did see some pictures with Kofi, who is from around here in Virginia with
Yeah,
me. I haven't seen him since he's left, and
Kofi's
we'll
awesome.
get. I'm watching Captain America and I'm seeing that scene. I'm like, yo, that's Kofi. That is going to be so
Yeah,
cool. He's going to get his butt whipped, but it's still going to be awesome. And then he was
yeah.
with you in Black Panther. You see that brother? Tell him I said hi. I miss him a
I
lot. I
will.
haven't, I haven't seen him. Such a nice dude too. Taking it back to tournaments, you have really. I mean, also you mentioned sponsoring your team and everything, but you've also ushered in some of the next generation of martial artists. You've got, Sammy, you've got Danny. Who else do you see right now from keeping an eye on it from, a hovering view? I know you've been to a couple events and obviously you're not still competing. Who really catches your eye when you maybe catch a video that comes across Facebook or you hear about
You talking about new people?
new people or even, even someone's still been consistent? Sam's been very consistent in winning for quite a while now, and now she's bringing in people, which is great. You can see your lineage that goes on there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure who. I mean, obviously, I'm biased. People I've trained through the years, and I feel like
Right.
I've trained almost. I feel like almost everybody competing at least got at least one lesson or took a seminar
Mm-hmm.
sometime or another through the last 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I've been around for. Of new people, who do I like? I
I know
like
it's got to put you on the
Olivia.
spot
I
a
like
little bit.
Noelle.
So.
Yeah, you put me on the spot. I forget. I don't know everyone. I'm not like 100% up to date, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Compete Nationals. That's the first tournament I was at in a long time, probably like over a year.
Right.
But I was impressed with Noelle. I was impressed with Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Who
People at
else?
home hoping they mention your name. They're like, "Oh, please,
Yeah.
please don't say it." Well, I'll let you off the hook tonight because again, if you're not completely in it, you're always gonna. There's always someone new, or there's always something new going on. Let me ask you this: give me your best. I like the fact that you told me that you had a little bit of a struggle in the last tournament that you competed in, Diamond Nationals, with your finger being busted. Give me your best. Maybe triumphant tournament story, except for that one, because I wish I would have asked that question or known it. Maybe something was difficult. I was talking to Gabe Naga yesterday, and he said I went up after Ho Sung Pak many years ago at I think it was the Battle of Atlanta, and he goes out and gets all tens, and he's like, what? I was asking, what are you thinking in that moment when you see that? So give me something along the lines for that. Your best, maybe it's the first time you beat someone that you rival it.
Wait, so you want my best moment or just like a challenging moment?
Challenging moment, best moment. I'm gonna leave it up to you.
Challenging moment. Same year, 2012, my last year competing. I kind of knew it was like I was on my way out.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to end on a good note. So I was winning double grands, double grands, double grands. I'm like, all right, this is probably the last one. I'll win double grands and I'm out. Then I went to another tournament, double grands again. And then US Open. Actually, I broke that streak at Battle of Atlanta. I ended up messing up in forms. So I only won one grands. I'm like, oh man, I got to go out strong. I want to win a double grands. I was thinking U.S. Open was going to be my last tournament. At the tournament, I was all set for the night show. I ended up slipping in some water, and I rolled my ankle.
Oh.
I could not walk. So they gave me some medicine. I had ice packs on. I had it wrapped up. So that U.S. Open, I did not warm up anything for the ISKA show. I just stretched out. And I could barely stand. So I don't even know. I was like limping walking up. And then somehow with the adrenaline, I just got pumped up and just went for it. But usually you would train some of your movements before. I'd practice some of my combos, some of my moves. I'd be prepared. But I couldn't really warm up. So I was a bit nervous that I would even be able to pull anything off. Or I was afraid that was going to go up, jump up, spin, kick, and then,
come down
fall.
and heap. Yeah.
Yeah. So I managed to get through weapons somehow. And then I went up again and somehow got through forms and won double grands. And that was it. And then my ankle was busted for like a good month and a half after that, up until like the next tournament. DC was still wrapped up and giving me problems,
But that's something you definitely got to look back and like, man, how did I do that? How did I pull it off?
Yeah, I don't know how I did. To be honest, I had a bunch of students there, so I wanted to be a good role model. I didn't want to make excuses, but I can't compete tonight, and I was on my way out, so I was thinking like this could be my last tournament. This is probably gonna be my last U.S. Open. I want to finish strong. So I guess I just used that as motivation, push through,
Motivation comes in all forms. And like you're thinking, this may be someone's last, the last time they see me, they think, oh yeah, man, he had a busted ankle. This, he used to be good. You want to put that stamp on there. Yeah. Don't let this be your last memory of me, Yeah. Well, let's see. You've got, obviously, which is available right now. Black Panther is available on, I think Blu-ray's coming out soon, but I know it's available on demand. But you've also got Deadpool 2 coming up. What else that you may be able to talk about is coming up, future projects or something that you're working on now?
A few smaller things. I just worked on 13 Reasons Why season 2, which I think is coming out on Netflix.
That's like next. You know what? I got to interrupt you right now. You can't see it right here, but the TV that's in my office, it says 13 Reasons Why, Tape 7, Side A. I'm actually just finishing literally right now the last episode of the first season.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
Now, see, now I'm going to have to roll right into season 2 because you're in it,
Yeah, season 2. I mean, I have a small part. I'm just playing a kid in the school. But I worked on that. I just worked on Punisher. What else is coming out? Deadpool 2. I'm trying to think what else I did recently. This show on Amazon called Goliath. I just worked on the Goldbergs. There's a new show that I have not checked out yet, but LA to Vegas. I was on there, double A.
Oh yeah, it's comedy on Fox.
Yeah. I guess that's it for now.
Well, I know you got a lot planned and everything. So one of the things that I did when I was talking to some of the guys who have gone on and worked in the film, and you think, oh, they're out there just on sets every day. But a lot of it is continually training. And as you mentioned, studying new arts, trying to make sure you're up to the task when that phone call comes in. Give us a typical day in LA. What are you doing? You're working, are you training all the time, getting better?
Yeah, I mean, you always got to train. if I'm not working, I'm training, and if I am working, I'm trying to train. A lot of times on Black Panther, we'd work out before work.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 a.m. we'd start training at 6 a.m. We'd get like a good hour or 2 hours in before the actresses came in and the actors, and we had to train them and start choreographing and then get to set. So if I'm working, I'm trying to work out before or
Mm-hmm.
after. If I'm not working, you're just trying to learn new movements, new arts, and just keep up, maintaining as I'm getting older. Still trying to maintain my flips, my tricks,
Mm-hmm.
my karate. But yeah, you're constantly got to change. You constantly got to train. Constantly have to evolve with the times.
Yep, totally agree with you. And just as I predicted, there's Nick Schneider, Matt Emig, one of the best of all times.
Yeah, Nick, what's up?
And there you go. I gotta ask you, of course, because Nick loves my conversations about comics and all things nerd. Do you
Yeah.
who did you gel with right away? Or who was the most friendly, or who did you really just relate to out of the Black Panther cast? There are a lot of pictures with you with everyone there. Who did you really enjoy working with doing that project?
Well, I worked with Lupita and Denai a lot,
Mm-hmm.
almost like every day. And then a few times, we went out and hung out. So, they were great to work with. But the whole cast was amazing.
Mm-hmm. I
So I feel
think
like I worked with them the longest.
someone tagged you in a picture and said Matt Eming, one of the most talented people I had ever known. And I mean, it just shows that you get on set, you're having a good time with everyone, people that you've never known before, and you've got to
Yeah.
work with them. So that's just an amazing testament to your character. Well,
Thank
Matt, I certainly appreciate the time today. I know it's 10:30 for you, 1:30 for me. We look forward to seeing you in a lot more projects. Of course, as mentioned, next week, Deadpool 2, 13 Reasons Why
you. Yeah.
Season 2, and many other things that are coming on out. Check his IMDb page. Well, let me see. Any shout outs or anything else you want to mention right before we go? I'll give you the last word.
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's just fun. We should do it again.
Oh, most
Hopefully I'll see
definitely.
everyone at a tournament soon,
That is true. I did see you compete. We definitely got to get a live clip in there one other times when you're at an event. Definitely let us know when you're going to be somewhere. We will get you on broadcast live and get everybody's opinion. Thank you very much, Matt Emig, and we'll see you guys very soon.
Thank you, Mallard, for having me.
All righty.